Here's Doc with us yesterday responding to a question about that.
Doc, I heard you build Ben up so much last year, but it seems like the one comment you made after you guys lost to the Hawks seems to be getting blown out of proportion. When the reporter asked you your thoughts on Ben Simmons, is he a championship-level PG? And you said, I don't know the answer to that. How do you feel about that?
That's not what I said, actually, Jay. This is one thing I'm glad you brought that up, because this is when narratives, and this is what makes our jobs hard. I actually said when the guy asked, guys, I'm not answering that stuff right now. I don't even know how to answer that. So what I was talking about was not answering the question.
Wow.
It had nothing to do with Ben. Yeah, but I said, it's funny, the next day, because my daughter, actually, Callie, called me and said, hey, you better clean that up. I know exactly what you were saying, but they're going on with a different narrative. So the next day, I did an impromptu press conference and said it again. I said, guys, for whoever's running this narrative, that's not what I was saying. Ben knows that. Rich Paul knows that. But, it's amazing how it gets started, and it just takes a life of its own.
Doc, now I'm going to let you be real clear and simple for those that want to change the narrative and create the storyline for you and what comes out of your mouth. I'm going to simply just ask you this. Can Ben Simmons play for you and win a championship?
Yeah, all day. All day. He just does so many things, man, that – it's funny. You guys heard me all year fighting for the kid.
So there's the answer. So the answer to that is Ben Simmons can play for him. Ben Simmons can play for him, and they can win a championship.
At least Doc thinks so.
That's what Doc believes.
All right, so let's break that down. And I do believe that Doc believes this, but there's levels to it, right? Because a couple months before that, they were all in to get James Harden. So can they win a championship with Ben Simmons? Potentially. What else is Doc supposed to say when it feels like the 76ers and their backs are against the wall? But what are the chances of them winning a championship with a player that brings different capabilities to the table for the 76ers than Ben Simmons?
But I'm confused about why that's insulting to Ben Simmons. James
Harden. I never said it was insulting to him.
But I mean, like, they were all in to get James Harden. And what I hear is that might have been part of the problem. Like, why are you trying to move me? But respect to Ben Simmons, who Doc is great defender, great passer, crazy handles for a 6'10" guy, et cetera, et cetera. James Harden has won an MVP, and every year he's in the MVP conversation. He's a better player.
And that might be cool, but nobody wants to hear their name pushed out
Thank you, Key.
In the universe. It's just like you, Max. You don't want to hear your name being put out there, and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen, and you got to look the bosses in the face. Same thing with Jay. Jay don't want to hear his name out there, and then all of a sudden they got to come back to you and be like, hey, we were just having coffee with him. It's not that. Now you lose all trust, and no matter what they try to do to gain that trust back, it'll never be that way.
Plus, Key, they were the top team in the East at the time. They were fighting for that. So it's not like you're not in position to do that while you're hearing your name floated out there for other guys. And I know you say that, but there are other names out there that people are waiting for. Damian Lillard. People are trying to wonder what's going on in his situation. Was he okay with them hiring Chauncey Billups? Is he going to stay there? Bradley Beal in Washington, D.C. There are other players that are on the same kind of tier.
But the difference with that, what you're describing in Ben Simmons is Dame Lillard can pick and choose and say what he want to say if he want to come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons didn't have that right to do that. They was picking and choosing for him.
But I'll say this. You got to also be honest with yourself at a certain point. Ben Simmons is an excellent player and a star. There are levels. He is not on James Harden's level.
Yeah, you do have to be honest with yourself and know that James Harden is the better player. But in the entire time when they're telling you we're not doing that,
they're lying to your face.
It's a totally different situation. And I'm a dog too. So why would, just because James Harden coming don't mean that I have to belittle my game and step down.
You know
Even
what?
though I know he's an MVP.
If this is the issue with Simmons too, there's another issue. He does all these things at amazing levels. He doesn't even attempt a shot. Like, it's one thing to be the freak and say he needs to work on his shot. He's not a real threat, whatever. Simmons, I've never seen anything like it. He just won't shoot.
This is just my thinking about Ben because I've watched him work out in the summertime. See, I think there's something there between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And let me tell you why I think this way. You know, a couple weeks ago when Joel Embiid extends that olive branch key,
Yes.
it's the first time I've seen Joel Embiid do something like that. I actually praised him for it because this is the leader that you need to be. But that has not been the case between these two. Like, there have been so many reports about these guys not talking, these guys not hanging, these guys not and I'm not saying you need to be best friends when you're teammates with somebody to win a championships, but it seems like they've been so far off. And now all of a sudden, when Ben wants to leave, now all of a sudden Joel is like, well, hey, we can win championships together. I think Ben looks at guys and thinks, like, I feel like some of you guys are frauds, and I don't want to be around that.
Do you think, and as the guy that played the NBA in Naismith, right? I'm saying
Yes,
right?
yes.
Award winner, you know it all, you do it all. Could he just be doing that because he doesn't want all the negativity to be like you forced being out of Philadelphia?
What do you mean?
Joel, could he be
Embiid.
like,
Oh, yeah.
giving him that olive
He
branch?
doesn't want to be.
He doesn't want to be
He
the
don't wanna be a
scapegoat.
bad
He doesn't
guy.
want to be the bad guy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.